Valley Club, this weekend in Marvel Strike Force, we hit a major milestone on the account, finally unlocked Professor X. Professor X, unlock! Happy days, Valley Club! And in this video, I'm gonna give you my picks for the best characters to unlock Professor X with some backup options as well. So if you're ready to unlock the mutant leader a lot earlier, you know what to do, Valley Club. Find that like button and let's go smash it. And what is up, my friends? Welcome back to the ValleyFlyin channel. I am ValleyFlyin, and I hope you're having an excellent day. And I hope you are ready to unlock Professor X quicker. That's what we're talking about in this guide. Just unlocked in this past weekend. And now that we have some new characters in the game, some characters that were announced coming up, I'm gonna give you my updated picks for this Professor X saga. And if you get some value from the video today, hit that like button, hit the subscribe button, ring the notification bell so you know as soon as a brand new video goes up. At least 5 pieces of Marvel Strike Force content every single week on this channel. Well, let's head over to marvelstrikeforce.com and look at the planner. These were the characters that I used in my run for Professor X. The city section, we used the vigilante characters, 3 of them, and 2 of the old school Night Stalkers. I think this is the one that gives you the most options because you have to bring city characters, not necessarily city heroes and city villains, just city characters. So you get a lot more variety with this, although there are less city characters that are really valuable outside of the Professor X saga. Next section is the, what is this? The hero global, no, villain global section. So this is where we brought our Fred, Omega Red Phoenix Force. We brought 2 of the zombies, Zombie Juggernaut and Zombie Scarlet Witch. We also brought Nimrod, and we also brought Lady Deathstrike, which at this point, now that we know that the Orcus is out as the next team comes in, the next Insidious 6 comes in, that's gonna be the next tech raid team. Probably wouldn't be building these characters at this point. If you already have them built up, cool. You're on your way for your Professor X unlock. And the good thing about this team, even after they fall off the raids, they still have those post-Aerie stats. So this will still have a little bit of value in Crucible and War. Next section, and arguably the toughest section, is the Hero Global section. I brought in 3 limited characters. I think Emma Frost from the X-Men is very, very important. We also brought in Jean Grey. I've seen some other content creators bring some weak characters in this section, but I think the Shadow King node is the hardest node. Talk about some of the other options that you have, but it looks like even with bad characters, you are able to grind through the Shadow King node. Will take a little while to get through it. Villain Cosmic, we brought Gore, we brought Endgame Thanos, we brought Null, we brought Shadow King and Mephisto. Only one I'm kind of questioning at this point is Gore. I did this fully knowing that the Fantastic Four MCU was on their way. It was already announced after I started building Gore. Actually, I think I put 1 piece into Gore. Then I was like, oh, the rest is all bio. So I guess I'm just gonna continue with Gore. So I think I was in the process of building Gore as the Fantastic Four MCU was announced. And then the Hero Cosmic. We brought Odin. We have to bring Lilandra. We brought 2 Starjammers because Howard the Duck is tech, Havoc is mutant, and we didn't have the bio pieces after we did Gore to build up the Fantastic Four MCU. So we brought these 2 characters. Quasar is a great character, but this is what we brought. So let me go through some different options, what I would do at this point. Now, City, probably would still do something very similar. We got the Vigilantes in the game. They are the meta raid team. We have the Night Stalkers in the game. They are a meta raid team for Mystic. And we also have some other characters in City that are gonna be raid characters as well. The Insidious 6 is gonna be the next tech raid team. So we can use some tech characters in this, replacing possibly Blade and Oath. I think you're still gonna have value from all of these characters because they, at this point of me recording this, are all current raid teams. So we do have Vulture in there. Vulture was a traditional character that we brought for Dark Dimension 7 and Dark Dimension 8 because not only was he good outside of Dark Dimension, he was very cheap. He still is very cheap. And I'm guessing we don't have Vulture at Gear Tier 20, so I can't test this right now, but we do have, I do recommend Vulture. I'm not sure who I would recommend over this, but if you have tech pieces and not necessarily some of the pieces that Blade, Oath might take, Vulture is a great option for you. Shocker is a little bit more expensive. We have 2 of the Gear Tier 20 pieces with Vulture. Shocker will take 3, so that may limit your options there, but he's a good character as well. Since we finished this section, we did bring up Hitmonkey, and Hitmonkey is also a very good part of that vigilante team. Depending when you go into this city section, you may want to build up Scorpion, you may want to build up Hobgoblin, and you may want to build up Superior Spider-Man. They seem to have value in Cosmic Crucible and War. I know that the vigilantes do, and they're very, very good. But if you are watching this down the road, after that Insidious 6 is fully out, that may be an option for you as well. I think it's going to come down to the pieces that you have, the parts that you have. If you have more skill pieces, you might go for the Vigilantes. If you have more mystic pieces, you might be going for the Night Stalkers. And if you have more tech pieces, you might be going for that Sinister / Insidious 6 for City. And moving on to the global section for that Shadow King boss, starts with villains, and we brought in some interesting characters here. I probably wouldn't have built these characters up to Gear Tier 20 if it wasn't for the Professor X saga, and 2 of these characters are already being replaced in the raid. So at the time that I went in, Orcus was the most recent tech team. They actually, at the time of me recording this, still are the most recent tech team. However, Insidious 6 was announced, and even though they're not in the game yet, Hobgoblin, Superior Spider-Man, and Scorpion are going to be replacing these characters. They will probably have the city tag, not the global tag. So you can't use them here, but you can use some of the Hellfire clubs. So there are a few mutants on this team. We have Omega Red Phoenix Force, we have Lady Deathstrike. If we go down to our other villain global characters, Sebastian Shaw is here as well. The original OG Emma Frost is here as well, and Madeline Pryor as well. And just kind of scanning through these, through some of the cheaper characters, I don't think it's worth building up Sabretooth at this point. Titania still has old stats. She does get used a little bit in Cosmic Crucible paired with the Cabal characters, but not as much as she was before. The Hood is an interesting character if you're really into Cosmic Crucible. He is a good Cosmic Crucible character. However, for my recommendations, I think we're going to take out Lady Deathstrike. We'll take out Nimrod, and we're going to leave Mega Red Phoenix Force. We're going to leave Zombie Juggernaut. We're going to leave Zombie Scarlet Witch. And if I was doing this now, we'd probably go with a lot of mutant characters and then take out Havoc at the end. So we're going to put in Sebastian Shaw. And I know she's a little bit more expensive, but I think Emma Frost is going to have a lot more value down the road than Madeline Pryor will. Madeline Pryor will also probably be good, but I think if I was redoing this today, I would go with something like this. Mutant characters, and then 2 of these bio characters there. So we're gonna have to make up some mutant characters later, but let's move on to hero global characters. Liberty is a team that I know a lot of people don't want to build because they're very good in pretty much just war. Emma Frost is a great character. I'm gonna leave her in. Jean Grey, I do a lot of Crucibles, so I'm gonna leave her in. Let's go see if there's any hero global characters that could be replaced. One of them is Rachel Summers, but because we used a lot of characters previously with mutants in that last section, I don't think I'm gonna go with Rachel Summers if I was to do this again. Captain Britain still does have value, but also has those pre-Ares stats, so I don't know if we could slot him in. Other characters that do have some updated stats, we do know that Black Widow and some of the other characters that were previously on the Infestation team are getting reworked. I don't think it's big enough to build them up unless you're really into war and value war more than Cosmic Crucible or value more than the raids. I don't think you go with the Black Widow. I'm not sure. We also have 2 of the new Thunderbolt characters, and just reading their kits, I'm not sure how good the Thunderbolts are going to be outside the raids. I believe that have been some people that have tested these characters, and if you've seen them actually work, then go ahead and build them. I have not personally seen that. That doesn't mean that it's not going to work, but I just haven't seen them working. So that unless you've seen the evidence that they work, I would hold off on building the Thunderbolts. Ancient One is a good character as well. And looking at the rest of these, we do have some good characters like Shuri, Hank Pym that I don't know if I would build at this point because of the pre-stats. Old Man Logan's a great character to put some Gear Tier 20 on after Professor X, but apparently in the Professor X saga, not very good. So I wouldn't build them Professor X, but one of your first mutant characters after you're done with Professor X probably should be Old Man Logan. Black Knight is still good, but he was not very good in Dark Dimension 8, so I'm not suspecting him to be very good in the Professor X saga as well. And as we go up this list, these characters are getting a little bit more expensive. Trying to avoid mutant characters because we did use a lot of mutant characters in that previous section. Quake is also getting a rework part of the Infestation as well. Don't think I would build her at this point. So I think if I was to do this Hero Global section again, I would redo this. Now, you do have some options for some cheap characters that do work. There were some content creators that were testing out some weird groupings for the global section. I know Duelam brought up Shieldmatic, was able to make him work. So if you're willing to do a bunch of attempts, and it could take multiple attempts and spend a lot of time. You can bring up these non-ideal characters if you really want to, but for myself, I'd rather build up characters that are going to make the Professor X run easy and also give me value after that as well. I know for the global villain section, Vinor recently just brought up her Hydra sniper or aim sniper, so there are characters that will work. They're gonna make you have a lot more RNG and potentially get a lot more runs. But if you really want to build them up, they have proved that you can. If you are willing to sit through some bad RNG, then you can build them up. Villain Cosmic, I already talked about how I wasn't sure if I would do Gore again, but going down to the Villain Cosmic characters, there's not a lot of great options in your Villain Cosmic. We do have Blastar, that is a new character. Azazel is another new character, however, he is a mutant. And if you're gonna go heavy in that early section with mutants for the global heroes, you might not wanna bring him in for the Cosmic section if you've used all those mutant characters. So I'm probably gonna avoid Azazel, probably build up Blastar. The early results, the early reviews of Blastar in Cosmic Crucible are a little disappointing, but I think as he gets higher red stars and higher gold stars, I think he will be good and make more use of that bomb burst. So probably would build up Blastar at this point, probably not building up Satana or Helverine, maybe Gladiator instead of Gore, because I thought Gore was giving more value. At the time, he was kind of in the arena meta and not as much for Gladiator. Now, neither of them are in the arena meta, and I think Gore is or Gladiator is a little more valuable. So if we were to redo this, I think the only character that I might take out is Gore. And the only character that I would put in probably Blastar. So I'd probably do something like this. A lot of this node is Mephisto, Null doing a lot of heavy lifting. Shadow King does a lot of heavy lifting as well. And then obviously Endgame Thanos. I think this spot might be the least important. But if you have characters like Mephisto, he is very, very expensive, by the way. Mephisto takes a lot of gear, but I think he is worth it. Not only for the value that he's gonna help you get through the Professor X part earlier, you're gonna get a lot of value with him after this as well. And then moving on to the last section, Hero Cosmic. At this point, I think maybe we could take out Odin if you're just looking to do this as fast as possible. I wasn't sure if we could do this without Odin, so what I wanna do, I'm gonna take out both of these characters. We're gonna leave Havoc in, we have to leave Lilandra in, we're gonna leave Quasar in. And two characters that we brought up since we unlocked Professor X was Franklin Richards and Invisible Woman. Before I make this recommendations, let's go take them into Professor X Saga to see if they'll work. Let's go test this out. We are trying to beat that final node on that Cosmic Hero section with no Odin. This is, in my opinion, the hardest node out there. The good thing about this node, though, you don't have to have all of your characters survive. As long as you beat Professor X, beat the node, doesn't matter how many survive, as long as there's at least one that survives, you will get all the milestones. So we're gonna go in. We only have two of our Fantastic Four MCU members leveled up to Gear Tier 20 in Franklin and Invisible Woman. So we're still gonna bring in Lilandra. We have to bring in Lilandra, Havoc, and we are gonna bring in Quasar as our next character. So let's go see if we can do this without Odin. So remember, Dark Xavier cannot be damaged through normal means. The ways to damage him when all of his allies that defeated his enemy falters and he loses health. So that is how to beat them. Defeat all of his psychic manifestations to earn victory. So we don't necessarily need to beat Professor X, but we need to beat everyone else. Let's start this off with the ultimate of Invisible Woman, pulling everyone together, actually just killing everyone. Professor X is still alive, Jean is still alive, but let's get this final kill on Jean with a basic from Havoc. A little damage at Professor X there. Ooh, Lilandra looks like she might be going very soon. Let's start off with the ultimate for Franklin Richards. Do want to get that on more characters, unfortunately, so we might have used that a little early. Maybe using that special would be a little better. Let's use a basic here, just kind of wait for some more of the waves to fall up. There we go. Second wave is here. Let's go with our Gladiator, get an AoE attack. All right, they are losing some health. Professor X obviously is not gonna lose all of his health until we're beaten. All right, so let's go with this Gladiator. Let's get an AoE attack from Lilandra. And that next wave is that, all right, third wave here. This is when we might start to lose some steam, right? Professor X does his thing. And with that, we still have our Lilandra alive, thank goodness. All right, we have a lot of evades on our characters. Let's try to do these through the evades. Who should we stun? Are we able to stun anybody through these evades? Not sure. Let's just get an AoE attack. And, oh no, it's not an AoE attack, it's a single target attack. I guess if we don't make this, that we don't do that on one character. We do that on probably Forge, maybe on what is his name, Gambit here. All right, so let's go and see if we could get a ability block right through all this stuff. Does she does not get the ability to block, but we do kill Nightcrawler. That's good. Turn meter for Professor X is looking pretty good. Let's go with the special on Forge here. I do want to stop him from giving everybody, or not everybody, but at least the Gambit that death proof. All right, so we still have our Lilandra alive. That is good. They're getting some damage on them. There goes the Havoc. All right, let's use, I think I want to use this special on Gambit. Takes him out. All right, Lilandra's still barely alive, just by a little thread. Of course, she does not need to survive. We do need to beat all of the ways to beat Professor X. Luckily, we still have Lilandra alive. Let's go. It looks like Invisible Woman is dead. I just noticed that. I don't see her behind Gladiator there. All right, but all right, here are the final characters. So final 3 characters. We could kill this Apocalypse, kill this. All right, I thought we were gonna die there. All right, we're still alive. Let's see how this goes. Let's do the special on their Apocalypse. All right, that Apocalypse is dead. That means that Professor X briefly went into the red. He's now back into the yellow for his health. He is, we are slowly chipping down at this Omega Red. Can we do this with our Franklin? Oh, there's Invisible Woman. I guess she is alive. Maybe she was just invisible behind that Gladiator there, but we definitely lost Lilandra. 2 more enemies on the field for them, and we have a bunch for us. All right, let's go with our Quasar. Boom. All right, and even with that misplay in the beginning, we still were able to beat this. So you can beat Dark Dimension without Odin. If you want to save some resources, you can do it without Odin. Eventually, you would need to get Odin. I think he's that valuable. But yeah, if you just want to try to get Professor X right away, don't need to do Odin. This team does work, and these are characters that I think you build up anyway. Now, if you really wanted to take on Havoc, I guess you could use more Mystic pieces and build up Odin. I think this team would actually work a little easier than a Havoc version, but you do have options for this Hero Cosmic. If we're looking at some other Hero Cosmic options, obviously Mr. Fantastic might be a good one as well. We do know that the combo of Havoc and Howard the Duck works in this. Hyperion might give you a little value as well. He is a member of the Thunderbolts. That's so he's a current raid character. And just kind of scanning through the rest of these characters, Doctor Strange, part of the Astral team, is kind of annoying. And if you're really leaning into him for current content, you might just build him up for the Hero Cosmic section. Kahori, I know, works very well outside of war as well. I see her all the time in Cosmic Crucible. But if you are not into the PvP modes in War and Cosmic Crucible, she might not have as much value for you as well. And just kind of scanning through the rest of these characters, not too many more valuable characters that I would build up at this point. So probably either Kahori, Howard, Havoc, Mr. Fantastic, Doctor Strange are the only ones that really stand out to me. And of course, these characters right here. Now, if you are going the cheap route, not building up Odin for Professor X, as you see, you don't need him. He is kind of like Old Man Logan in a character that I would build up immediately when you're done with Professor X saga. So you might go cheap in a little bit in the beginning, but yeah, definitely build up Odin. And you probably want to eventually, if you don't go with this, the Mephisto version, and you're going with another version, you eventually do want to build up Mephisto, probably building up Endgame Thanos as well, even if he's out of the arena meta. And if you don't initially go with a Fantastic Four MCU, that should be one of the first bio characters or bio teams that you build up. So Valley Club, I hope this helps you in deciding which characters to bring into the Professor X saga. We do have a lot more options at this point than when it initially launched. But if you have some other options that I did not mention in this video, let me know down in the comments, guys. Are there other characters that work really well for you in the Professor X saga that I did not mention at all in this video? Let the community know so they have more options as well. Hopefully you got some value from the video today. And if you did, leave the video a like. And if you want to see what to do to win in Arena, if you don't have Professor X, you could pretty much beat any team in Arena without a Professor X on defense. Check out the video up there, and I will see you guys next time. Have a great rest of your day. Hulk fist bump. ValleyFlyin out. Take care, guys.